Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah and good morning and good evening. So this is the quick revision video for the digestive system. And before moving to the video, before moving to the lesson, I want to give you a small disclaimer regarding the video. That is, well, this is not the video that explaining the total part of the lesson, right? This will be a quick revision. So if you want to get the complete understanding of this lesson, check the channel and we have the video. And this is the quick revision video, right? So keep that one in your mind. If you have the previous knowledge in this lesson, then only it will be very helpful for you. Okay, now we'll move to the lesson. So now we are going to discuss the digestive system, the first system that is on your unit number 6. Okay. So here, Bulhar, first of all, we are going to start the lesson with the question, what do you mean by digestion? Digestion means converting the complex organic compound into simple organic compound. Try to get the idea, what does it mean, right? Complex organic compound into simple organic compound. Here we have the complex organic compound. These are the complex organic compound. Carbohydrate is a complex organic compound, so we are going to convert the carbohydrate into monosaccharide. So these are the simple organic compound. Protein is a complex organic compound. Amino acid is a simple organic compound. So we are going to convert these complex organic compounds, into simple organic compound. So this is called as digestion of the food. Okay. Now the second part, we are going to divide the digestion into two types: mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. Try to get the idea. You know, Pulal, in the buccal cavity, we are grinding the food by using the teeth. In the stomach, we are going to grind the food by using the muscles of the stomach. So this kind of grinding process is called as mechanical digestion. Only the physical nature is going to be changed. There will be no any kind of chemical reactions happening here. Only the nature of the food is going to be changed without the support of enzymes or without the support of chemicals. So this kind of digestion is called as mechanical digestion. Chemical digestion means with the help of enzymes we are going to do the digestion. Look at the picture here. In the buccal cavity, we have the enzyme named amylase. Amylase is an enzyme. And you know, starch is there. When you're eating the bread, it contains the starch. So in the buccal cavity, starch is converted into maltose. Then how does this process happen? With the help of teeth? No. Without the support of the teeth. Here, with the help of enzymes. Amylase is an enzyme. So with the support of enzyme, with the support of chemicals, the complex organic compound, the big molecule starch, has been converted into simple compound, simple molecule. So this process is called as chemical digestion. Here, a big molecule has been converted into small molecule with the help of enzymes, amylase enzyme. So this is called as chemical digestion. Now we are going to discuss the parts that are related to the digestive system. Pula, you must be able to mark and label all these parts that are related to the digestive system. The buccal cavity, the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, liver, and the pancreas. And here finally the anus and the rectum. So you must be able to mark or the label all these organs. Okay. What are the main three functions of the digestive system? The main function of the digestive system, these are the functions, right? Food digestion, that means breaking down the fruit into small pieces, breaking down the food, breaking down. So we are going to break down the food, that is food digestion. Earlier we had discussed the definition, right? Second one, absorb the foods into the body. You know, in the stomach, all the nutrition will be absorbed into the blood. In the small intestine, all the nutrition will be absorbed into the blood. So food digestion. Second one, absorption. And third one, removal of undigested product. You know, during in the anus, we are going to remove all the undigested product. So these are the main three functions: food digestion, absorption, and removal of the undigested food. Okay. Now we have break down the digestive system into 6 parts, right? We have divided the digestive system into 6 parts. First one, that is buccal cavity. What is going to be happen in the buccal cavity? First of all, you want to understand the structure of the buccal cavity. Buccal cavity is made up of the upper jaw and the lower jaw, and it is covered by the cheeks. And upper jaw and the lower jaw, we have the teeth in the jaws, and only the lower jaw can be moved. Upper jaw cannot be moved. It is a fixed structure. Between the upper jaw and the lower jaw, we have the tongue between the upper jaw and the lower jaw. The tongue is attached to the lower jaw. And we have main three functions for the tongue. First one, mix identification of the taste. We are eating the food, right? Who identifies the taste, whether it is sweet or whether it is, you know, so who identifies the taste, whether it is sweet or bitter? The tongue is the one who is responsible to identify the taste. Second one, mixing the food with the saliva. When you are eating, we will be mixing the food with the saliva with the help of the tongue. Third one, swallowing. Swallowing means pushing the food for the pharynx. We are going to push the food to the pharynx, right? So this process is done by the tongue. So what are the main three functions? Identification of the taste, mixing the food with the saliva, and third one, salivating or pushing the food bolus into the pharynx. Okay. Now the second part, so not the second part, sorry. In the buccal cavity, we have the salivary gland. So this salivary gland produces the saliva. In that saliva, we have a main important enzyme, amylase enzyme. Earlier we have discussed this one, right? So this amylase enzyme, salivary amylase, is called as ptyalin. So this enzyme converted the starch into maltose. Look at the picture here, starch is a big molecule, right? So this big molecule converted into small molecules with the help of amylase enzyme. And also, this is a kind of chemical digestion. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the second part, that is pharynx. Okay, try to get the idea. What do you mean by pharynx? Pharynx is the common area for the digestive system and the respiratory system, right? This is the part that is pharynx. Try to get the idea, right? So here the respiratory air will be moving here like this, and I will use another color pen to show the traveling path of the food. And so here, this is the way the food is going to be traveled. So here, the common area for the digestive system and the respiratory system, that is pharynx. And when the food bolus is moving through the pharynx, there's a small structure called epiglottis. A lid-like structure is there. That lid-like structure, the epiglottis, will cover the trachea, right? This is trachea where the respiratory air is moving. So that pathway, the trachea where the air is moving, that will be blocked by the epiglottis, because if the food enter into the pharynx, what will happen? Sorry, if the food enter into the larynx, what will happen? Definitely we will die, because it will be very difficult to respirate. So here the trachea, the larynx will be covered by the epiglottis. You can see the picture here, right? How the epiglottis is covering the pathway of the air. Okay. Now we are going to discuss regarding the esophagus. Try to get the idea. Third one, right? They have divided the system into 6 parts. Total, we have discussed 2 parts, and now we are going to discuss our third part, that is esophagus, right? Esophagus is the tube, a long tube that is connecting the pharynx and the stomach, right? So here we have the esophagus here. So food will be moving to the esophagus. This movement, this contraction here, the food it has been contracted, and here so esophagus has been relaxed. So this contraction and relaxation movement, this wave-like movement, is called as peristaltic movement. So this wave-like movement, contraction relaxation, this kind of movement is called as peristaltic movement. So if they are asking in the exam, how does the food move through the esophagus, so what is the name given for that movement? What will be the name, Pulhal? Peristaltic movement. Now the fourth one, that is stomach. Okay, first one, Pulal. Stomach is a dilated bag-like structure, right? It's a bag-like structure. It will be, the broad structure, very broad area, right? It's a, sac-like organ, bag mariana or a structure. Second one, in the stomach, the gastric juice will be released. This liquid is called as gastric juice. In the gastric juice, we have two main components. Number one, that is hydrochloric acid, and next one, that is pepsin. So in the gastric juice, in that liquid, you may have seen that liquid, right? So inside that liquid, we have two things. Number one, hydrochloric acid, and number two, that is pepsin enzyme. So what is the function of the hydrochloric acid? Hydrochloric acid will activate the pepsin enzyme, because when they are released out, they will be inactive. So hydrochloric acid will make them active. So hydrochloric acid make the pepsin enzyme active, and the pepsin enzyme convert the proteins into polypeptides. So the chemical digestion, sorry, the second one we are discussing here, right, regarding the pepsin. The earlier we had discussed the chemical digestion in the buccal cavity, and now second one, the protein has been converted into polypeptides. That is a function of the pepsin enzyme. Hydrochloric acid activates the pepsin enzyme. Pepsin enzymes convert the protein into polypeptide. Now, the third thing that you want to know regarding the stomach, that is a renin is a kind of chemical that produced in the infant to make the milk coagulate. In the babies, they will be conceived in the milk, right? That is in liquid form. So to convert the liquid into solid, semi-solid, to coagulate the milk, then only the digestion will be effective. So to make the milk semi-solid, to coagulate the milk, we have the renin enzyme in the stomach. And fourth one, Pulahal, here, the food. If the food is in my hand, that will be named as food. After the food is entered into the buccal cavity, we will name that one as bolus, right? So when I have the apple in my hand, that is food. So after entering into the buccal cavity, that is called as bolus. And after the bolus will move through the esophagus and it will reach the stomach. So after reaching the stomach, the bolus will named as chyme. What is the name, Pulal? The bolus is named as chyme. Now the name that given for the food, that is not food, that is not bolus. Now I'm going to name them as chyme. So now you can read the notes here. The bolus turns into chyme, and the food will be stored in the stomach for 3 hours. Now, the fifth one that you want to know regarding the stomach, that is here in the stomach, a little amount of water and glucose and some drugs will be absorbed directly into the blood. Okay. And after, when the food is moving from the stomach to the small intestine, that chyme will contain all these 5 materials. So you want to memorize these 5 things. What are the substances that are present in the chyme? Okay. Now we are going to discuss regarding the small intestine. So in the small intestine here, first of all that you want to know about small intestine is 7-meter length. Okay, here you can see, right, small intestine 7-meter length. Okay, and here we have the stomach here, right? So in the stomach, the bolus has been converted into chyme. So now the chyme is going to enter into the small intestine. The proximal part, the starting part of the small intestine is named as duodenum. What is the name given for this part, Pulal? The C-shaped structure. The starting part of the small intestine is named as duodenum. Okay. Now, Pulal, we have divided the digestion that happening in the small intestine into main 4 parts. We have divided the small intestine into main 4 subheadings. Okay. First one, Pulal, that here, listen here. In the small intestine, in a C-shaped structure, you can see here, the pancreas has been connected to a small intestine. So this pancreas will release the pancreatic juice into the small intestine. Here you can see that one, right? The pancreatic juice will be released into the small intestine. So in that pancreatic juice, we have main three organs: T, A, L, trypsin, amylase, and lipase. You can easily memorize TAL, T-A-L, trypsin, amylase, lipase. The trypsin, they will convert the proteins into polypeptides, and amylase, they will convert the starch into maltose, and the lipase, they will convert the lipids into fatty acid and glycerol. This is a kind of chemical digestion that happens by the help of pancreatic juice. And second thing that you want to know regarding the small intestine, here earlier I said that the pancreas will release the pancreatic juice. Same like that, small intestine, they by themselves, they will produce the enzymes into the duodenum. By themselves, they will produce the small intestine. They will produce the enzymes. So those enzymes are called as intestinal juices. Earlier, pancreatic juice was released by the pancreas. Here, small intestine, they will release the intestinal juice. In that intestinal juice, we will have main four enzymes here: maltase, sucrase, lactase, and peptidase. Mucus is not an enzyme. Don't worry about that one, right? So here in the small intestine, in the intestinal juice, we will have four main enzymes: maltase, sucrase, lactase, and peptidase, and try to understand the function. Maltase will convert the maltose into glucose. Sucrase will convert the sucrose into glucose and fructose. And the lactase will convert the lactose into glucose and galactose. Peptidase, they will convert the polypeptides into amino acid. So you want to memorize all these functions regarding the enzymes. Okay. Now, you may have got the idea, Pulal. All the carbohydrates has converted into glucose, fructose, and galactose. Here, you can see that the glucose, fructose, and galactose. All the protein has been converted into amino acids. And in the TAL, in the pancreas, you may remember that one. The lipids has converted into fatty acid and the glycerol. So, all the thing, all the food, all the main complex organic compound has been converted into simple organic compound. So this is the chart that earlier we had discussed the same thing earlier, right? So this is the one of the important chart that you want to memorize. Now the third thing that comes under digesting a small intestine, that is the bile. Here in the liver, the bile is produced in the liver, and it will be stored in the gallbladder, and it will be released into the small intestine. You can see that picture, right? So in the small intestine, the pancreas is also releasing the pancreatic juice. Same like that, the gallbladder will release the bile into the small intestine. So inside the bile, we will have the bile salt and the pigments and the bicarbonate and the water. So in the exam, they may ask, what are the components that can be found in the bile? So you must be able to answer these questions. And second one, what is the function of the bile? Functions of the bile is emulsification. You may ask, what do you mean by emulsification? Emulsification means, Kulal, here you can see a big fat molecule is there, right? So that big fat molecule has been converted into small droplets. So this process is called as emulsification. Try to get the idea, right? So lipids in the food are broken down into small droplets. So this process is called as emulsification, that is done by the bile. We have discussed three things that comes under small intestine. The last part that is going to be happen in the small intestine, that is absorption of the food. Now here, Pulal, for the absorption, the small intestine have main 5 adaptations for the absorption. First one, it is a very long tube, and second one, it has the circular fold. You can see the folds here, right? So to increase the surface area, it has been a long tube and it has circular fold. And third one, in the circular fold, you can see a finger-like structures are there, that is called as villi. So presence of finger-like projection called villi in that circular fold. And also, Pulal, In that villi, if you take one of the villi and if you make it magnify, if we make it zoom, we can see the microvilli. So presence of microvilli, you can see here circular folds are there. In the circular fold we have the villis, and in the villis we have the microvillis. And the last one, that is villi, are highly vascularized. Look at the picture here, these are the villis, right? So inside the villi we have a large number of blood vessels are there. So here you can see the circular fold, the villi are here. In the villi you can see the microvilli here, and also the villi are highly vascularized. It has large number of blood vessels to absorb more and more and more food into the blood capillaries. Okay, so here all the food has been converted into amino acids, and all the food has been converted to monosaccharide, glucose, galactose, lactose, fatty acid, glycerol. All the food has been converted into simple organic compounds. So out of those simple organic compound, the amino acids, vitamins, and the minerals, and the monosaccharides, all these substances are absorbed into the blood capillaries. You can see the blood capillaries here, the blue and the red color. So all those things, what are the substances? Amino acids, vitamins, minerals, monosaccharides. So all these things will be absorbed into the blood capillaries, but the fatty acid and the glycerol, they will be absorbed into the lacteals. You may ask, so what do you mean by lacteals? Here you can see the green color tube is there, right? So that is lacteal. You may have a doubt, what is lacteal? That will be discussed in the circulatory system. But you want to understand the main thing, that is amino acid. These four substances will be absorbed into the blood capillaries, and the fatty acid and the glycerol, they will be absorbed into the lacteals. Okay. Now we are going to discuss what is going to be happen in the large intestine. Very simple, Pula. Large intestine, one and only function that is conducted by the large intestine, that is absorbing the water. And here you want to know that is 1.5 meter length, and the starting part that is called as cecum, and the ending part that is anus, and above the anus we have the rectum, and these are the names that have related to the digestion and the large intestine. The function of the large intestine, that is absorbing the water. These are the things that you want to know regarding the digestive system. And now we are going to revise the digestive system within 5 minutes. Once again, within 5 minutes. Okay. Here, first of all, Pula, what do you mean by digestion, right? Converting the complex organic compound into simple organic compound. And then after we discuss, digestive system can be divided into mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. The second part that we had discussed. What do you mean by mechanical digestion, right? And what is chemical digestion, and the parts that are related to the digestive system. And the fourth one, that is the digestion that happens in the stomach. In the stomach we have learned that is a sac-like structure, and inside the gastric juice the bolus will convert it into chyme, and in the gastric juice we will have the hydrochloric acid and the pepsin enzyme, and we have discussed regarding the renin. And in the stomach the food will be stored for 3 hours, and some of the materials will be absorbed. What are the materials? The glucose and the drugs and the water will be absorbed in the digestive system. And the digestion that happens in the small intestine, related to the pancreas, pancreatic juice will be released, and the star, right? So that is a main important thing that you want to know. And second one, regarding the bile, the digestion, the emulsification process. Okay. And absorption that happen in the small intestine, the main 5 adaptations, right? Being a long tube, circular fold, villi, microvilli, and villi are highly vascularized, and these part already we had discussed. And finally the large intestine. So here all these things has been included in a PDF, and I have given the link in the description, so you can download this PDF in that Google Drive link. Okay. So okay, just you can comment if you have any doubts in this video, or what are the lessons that I want to teach in future. You can comment in the comment section.